What's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're bringing it back to our Christopher Nolan rewatch marathon with the 7th film and final film on the Dark Knight trilogy. It's The Dark Knight Rises. This had big shoes to fill. After the genius of The Dark Knight, I don't think anybody was really expecting this to raise the bar and make something better than its predecessor, but I was among those that hoped for the best anyway. It's also a movie that I've reviewed at least twice before in the past, and I find this one to be pretty interesting all on its own, but I have a hard time placing it when comparing it to the others. So much to my mirth, let's get cracking. This review was brought to you by the word of the day, mirth. Amusement. The Dark Knight Rises brings Batman back to the world of Gotham after having disappeared for the last 8 years when a mercenary by the name of Bane shows up wreaking havoc in the city. A villain that only Batman can destroy. Meanwhile, the fate of Wayne Industries hangs in the balance as Bruce Wayne refuses to act on an investment he made years prior, and a rookie cop has discovered Batman's identity. When you look at this trilogy as a whole, you can definitely tell that atmospherically, it feels much more in tone with The Dark Knight, which is great, but thematically, I would actually say it goes back to Batman Begins. So in a way, you can easily say my score will be in between the first and second film, and you'd be right, but you're talking about a 4% difference here, regardless of the score. Meaning, when you look at this trilogy as a whole, it really is a near perfect trilogy. There's just so much to love about this film on its own, but because the others are so good, they're basically their own competition against each other, and I think a lot of people are going to disagree on which film is the best. I've seen a lot of people agree with me on The Dark Knight. I've seen a lot of people prefer Batman Begins, and I've actually also seen a handful of people prefer Bane's story than any of the others as well. Because this third film was also a conclusive end to the franchise, which is usually pretty refreshing to see given how much money Hollywood likes to milk from series until they have no legs to stand on anymore. Not here. It had a story to tell from part 1 to part 3, and who cares if it does amazing in the box office or not? It was ending here. I can appreciate that about this film. But out of all 3 films, I have to say, apart from a conclusive ending, this is my least preferred film personally. I may have it scored higher than Batman Begins because of technical reasons, but that first film gave me goosebumps on top of goosebumps, as did The Dark Knight, but this one did not. At least not until maybe the last 3 minutes. Plus, in a way, Batman Begins stands out on its own apart from the 2 Dark Knight movies, which really helped it, stand on its own 2 legs, which is great. Don't misunderstand me, because I still think this movie is a very well-made film with a captivating villain, one that's more of a physical adversary than any of the other villains so far. Scarecrow and Joker weren't any kind of physical match against Batman, so they had to use their intellect and gadgets and crap to fight Batman. But with Bane, it was hand-to-hand, which was a nice change in pace, and Tom Hardy was the perfect choice to play this one thought-to-be-stupid villain, thanks to Batman and Robin. Bomb! Bomb!
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
I just prefer the other movies because they're so good in so many different ways that I feel like you can pop in either the first or second movie independently, but I don't feel like you can do that with The Dark Knight Rises. I feel like in order to watch this movie, you have to watch the others in a rewatch like what I'm doing. Again, that's not to say that the movie is bad. It's not. Technically speaking, it has a better technical score than Batman Begins with 96%, because I can see very little issues in the technical department. And the bias score matches Batman Begins at 98% because it's still a lot of fun. Averaging out the 2 scores comes down to 97%, 97 out of 100 possible stars, granting this movie with a letter grade of A+, just like the others. And overall, it scored 1% higher than Batman Begins. So officially, my ranking of the Dark Knight trilogy from worst to best is Batman Begins at 96%, Dark Knight Rises at 97%, and The Dark Knight at a perfect 100%. Again, even though Batman Begins is officially the worst movie in the trilogy, that's not to say that it's bad. 96% is still an A+, guys. They're all nearly perfect. But I'd like to hear how you guys rank this trilogy in the comments down below. I feel like even though most people can agree that the series as a whole is nearly perfect, how everybody ranks it changes from person to person. So tell me your thoughts about it in the comments down below, and tell me what you thought about Dark Knight Rises. And as for you two, you guys know what to do. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this review, because there's always more like it coming out every single day. Hit the subscribe button and bell to be notified when I come out with my next Christopher Nolan review, and that should be Interstellar. Until then, guys, peace out.
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert. He is the #1. joining up with us. We think you're pretty